Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sean.
And I am Penguin.
Welcome to MLG Shakur's Plateau, where we are going to be seeing another CVZ round two of the Zeke North American Weekly Semifinals.
Definitely, Sean. We saw mistakes make a very, very terrible mistake to lose game one very quickly. Went for the 14 hatch against an 11 pool that ClashPresto just absolutely dominated in. And now Mistakes has chosen this map, which will be MLG Shakur's Plateau, as his second round battlefield.
And I think that is actually a very good choice against when you find out a player is not afraid to drop that 11 pull, drop that early pull, and all in you. This is actually a very good map for defending your natural, a very small choke. Just put a couple of spines here, scout that attack coming, and actually it's a very, very good map for that. Meanwhile, here in the top right corner, just to formally introduce our players, in the top right, uh, as you said, went hatch first in the first game, and that appeared to be a mistake, as fits his name, as his name is Mistakes.
And on the opposite side, we're seeing the man not afraid to drop yet another 11 pool, ClashPresto, hoping
Oh
to
yeah.
close this out in a very, very quick 2-0 win.
Absolutely going for that really fast lane aggression, but as I was saying in between games, that 11 pull still leaves you open to options. You do have to do a lot of damage. Going gas first from Mistakes, so actually he is going to go for that fast link speed, and we're going to see a 14 pull, and I feel like this 14 pull is actually going to be very, very, very good at countering this 11 pull, especially on a map like Shakura's Plateau.
I would agree, Sean. It's going to take quite a while for those lings to reach over to Mistakes base, and Mistakes is really going to have quite a bit of time to set up shop, maybe get a spine crawler if he really feels like it, but I feel like just his lings should be able to hold this off, and that will put ClashPresto at a pretty significant disadvantage economically if he can't do the damage he needs to do.
Indeed, it is going to come down to the Ling Micro. See if ClashPresto can get anything out of Mistakes without losing too many links. But um, actually, a mistake I did see ClashPresto make was here, and he's making the same mistake here. I feel like he should be taking these drones off of gas. He really does not need those drones on gas, especially in ZVZ, where you're not going to be using that gas for very long, considering that there is no Roach Warren going up. I really don't see why he's keeping those drones on gas. They could be mining minerals, and
Sean,
that
I
is
would like to
completely okay.
interrupt you there. He is going to be throwing up the Baneling Nest, and I do understand why he kept those
Oh,
guys on gas. Because if you want to,
absolutely.
if you scout your opponent going with a pool first, and with a gas first going for a pool, you know he'll be going for those speedlings, and of course, what does very well against speedlings? Banelings.
Absolutely. You are totally right, and I did totally derp in that moment there. So, I guess I will just admit I was totally wrong, but a lot of lings amassing outside of the natural of Mistakes, and
Mistakes has made
Mistakes.
another pretty crucial mistake here. ClashPresto able to take out an Overlord, and that will allow him plenty of time to get a bigger army out.
He has only three roaches building, and three roaches are not going to do very well against this level, this many lings, but every baneling that ClashPresto makes is basically a reduction in the amount of damage that his lings can do to those roaches. So actually, it's going to come down to the baneling micro, because the banelings aren't going to be very useful against the roaches. He's going to have to get quite a couple of good hits against the lings.
I think we may
And now
see
he's
him
waiting
move
the
these banelings into the mineral line, but it looks like he's not going to be able to get past the roaches, and he's going to lose the banelings on the roaches.
Oh no, he does manage to kill a couple of a roach or two, but that is not actually worth it, considering that he only had so many lings, and now Clash Presto actually at quite a deficit in the game, not going to be able to drop his expansion quite so early. Should they choose to go down that way, but it looks like Mistakes actually making more roaches, and I think he's going to try and end this game pretty soon.
And ClashPresto, of course, also looks like he's doing the exact same thing. He's moving across the map with 14 more lings. And I can't say I like this. These three roaches walling off this ramp can basically take on as many lings as they need to.
That is a very good point. There is quite a surface area on this roach to the right, so that may actually end up being what Clash Presto needs. But uh, here's one thing for certain. He cannot morph any of those into Banelings, and that is oh, that is not what he's doing. That's good. That's good. He just needs to not morph those into banelings. But he can deny this expansion if he goes in right now. He
He
has this
can
expansion
indeed.
scouted. I don't know what he's doing. He needs to go like right now because if Mistakes manages to make more units, he's making drones as well. So this is actually expanding the window. I don't know what Clash is doing.
He's waiting for more lings. I think he has more in production, several sitting at home, but I really don't think that he can. I mean, I don't understand why he's not moving in for this right now.
He doesn't need it. He can just go in, deny the expo, fall back, and defend his own. I don't know what he's doing here.
And of course, if Mistakes decides to pull the roaches off of that line to defend this expansion, he could always run straight past into the main. And that is what he tries to do there, but he will be cut off by a
Oh
third roach.
no. He is undercommitting. He needs to just send a couple many more of these lings and just go and attack that expansion. Those roaches so slow, whatever they try and do, he can micro past it. But no, the expansion actually going to come up, and now that window has closed. And let's check out the army supply. As can be expected, Mistakes having such a huge lead, and ClashPresto really missing a crucial window there.
He does manage to run into the couple of lings, scout that the expansion has successfully completed, and that will not make him a very happy Zerg.
And here's another mistake that ClashPresto is making. He's making more lings and then just sitting idly with them. That is the biggest mistake a Zerg can make in any matchup.
He is going to be
Just
running in.
make units
Oh,
on
he's going to
aim,
catch the spine
finally
crawler while
going
it's
in.
burrowing, and we'll get into the main.
Get into the main. He's going to do so much damage. ClashPresto not going to make the same mistake twice. Going to leave that to his opponent, whose namesake is indeed that concept. I didn't know where to go with that.
This could be enough lings to deal with the number of roaches that he has, and I feel like this might be able to be ClashPresto's moment to close this game off. Losing workers left, right, and center. Mistakes. Already having lost 14 workers to this initial attack, and there are just so many lings there and those roaches are not full health, with the exception of a
In
couple.
fact, I feel like Presto should just be microing his lings around damage, just keeping those roaches busy and droning up as hard as he can.
And that is what it would appear he's doing. He's going to be making 3 banelings that he will definitely try to run straight into that mineral line, and those roaches don't look like they'll be in position to deny those banelings.
Oh no, he's moving the roaches to his natural. Those banelings are going to do so much damage. Oh my goodness. Oh, and the banelings are moving up. He needs to detonate them one at a time. And is he going to get the hit? Actually, very good drone micro. And the roach is actually going to...
Will get
He'll
several...
get the baneling hit. Oh my goodness. What a good engagement for, what's his name? For
ClashPresto, who now has
It was just
twice as many drones.
Presto baneling.
Yes, he now has more than twice as many drones as his opponent Mistakes, who is desperately trying to drone up as hard as he can. ClashPresto, of course, going for that lair now, which we see, which he could be using. I would assume he's going to be going for Mutalisks or something, because there's just really not all that much that Mistakes can do against that at this point.
And I just don't agree with making this many lings. He has those spine crawlers. All he needs are 4 or 5 lings just to hold any aggressors in place. I feel like this is way too many lings. Each one, every pair of Zerglings here could be an additional drone, and I feel like that could really come back to hurt ClashPresto should this game continue to progress.
I do agree, but he is continuing to drone pretty hard, making 6 drones as we speak right now, but I do feel like on a map as large as Shakura's Plateau, this Overlord will see when his opponent moves out, and he would have enough time between his opponent moving out and arriving at his base to actually make as many lings as he wishes. So I agree
He
that he
needs to
should not
keep
be
these
getting
lings
those lings
active
right now.
because inactive lings are an absolutely terrible idea, especially in this matchup where lings really dominate the field of map control until any mutas can actually pop out. Meanwhile, the lair finishing, will he go for mutas or will he go for that? He is getting
The
a
spire is already halfway complete, and we are going to be seeing Mistakes putting a couple of spore crawlers in. I don't know if he's actually scouted that, but it is a pretty obvious transition from that lean baneling hit.
I'm sorry, every time you say we are seeing mistakes, I'm like, made by which player? And I'm, oh, right. But actually, making a spore crawler, like, did he even scout that spire?
I don't think so. And
Pretty hard
ClashPresto
play.
is going to be throwing down a hatch. Oh, Mistakes is going to be throwing down his own spire, but that's going to be so much later. The muta count for ClashPresto will probably be so much higher. Looking at the gas count, he already is closing in on 1,000 gas. And if Mistakes goes Mutalisks, he will just not have enough to deal with ClashPrestos.
I feel like going for a Spire after putting down the Spore Crawler is actually not a very good move. I think if you're going to go for that Spire, you really have to capitalize on what you have, and I feel like it should have been Mistakes expanding and ClashPresto choosing to stay on two base for a while because now Mistakes actually trying to I think he's trying to overextend himself basically,
I do
trying to
agree.
go for that Spire tech on two base and late while
Mutalisks
he's
are
got
on
it.
the way towards Mistake Space. ClashPresto is also putting up an Infestation Pit and a Roach Warren, which I do find interesting. But how much damage will these Mutalisks be able to do? 5 going
Oh
in
my
right now, 4 more coming in from the expansion. He will pull away in response to seeing that Spore Crawler, and I do think that's a mistake.
I do agree with that.
He's pulling
Meanwhile,
back in though. He's going to dodge around. He's going to snipe these Overlords, which will be a huge blow to
very
Mistakes.
very good move. Always good to get free overlords, and I feel like
And this Spire is
maybe
in
to
a
get
this
to get
Spire
this
is in
queen.
such a position that it can be sniped so easily, Sean.
Oh my goodness, he's actually going to be able to get the Spire very easily, and there's no way that enough mutas are going to be out to thwart that. He's going to have to pull the queen and pull the spore crawlers, and I do think that this is this is definitely very good for Clash Presto. Um, Meanwhile, if you will, for 1 second, if I may digress, check out the wall of roaches at the natural. That is just
I
so
have seen
cool.
that. Very
Oh my
impressive. You do
gosh.
only need 6 roaches to wall off this expansion in Chikor's Plateau. A little fun fact there for all of you Zergy players looking for some tips. But yes, you
Meanwhile,
can wall that off.
Clash Presto keeping these lings active, scouting all of the potential expansions of his opponent, using staying ahead. That is actually a very good use of those lings while he's using those mutas to snipe overlords. Oh
Miss
my goodness, look at how supply blocked Mistakes
Yes,
is.
he's so far behind at this point, and he does have Mutalisks out now as well, and I believe Mistakes actually has 2
Muta
less,
advantage.
and he does not have the Muta advantage. There are 2 less on the field for Mistakes, and of course there's also the +1 weapons upgrade, slightly ahead for Clash Presto.
Now actually way ahead. Clash Presto getting a couple more mutas on the stage, so I guess I just did not count properly. So hard to count mutas because sometimes they're bunched up, sometimes they're spread. You can never tell the difference.
Yes, and the Mutalisks are going to be trying. Oh, there's going to be a big move out by Mistakes, who's going to try to engage here, but there's just not enough Mutalisks. He'll be forced to turn
However,
around, and that will
hold up.
allow him to snipe a couple of roaches.
That is a very good move from Clash Presto. Every pot shot that he can get with those mutalisks is going
Oh,
to
and
make
the
the muta
the
count more
Zerglings might be
important.
able to reach the natural before the roaches do. They get the surround, and that
Yep,
will
the
be
surround
so
and
much.
decimated. Now the Muta fight not going to go well. Clash Presto easily going to clean up, and I think this is it. This is and he's just going to run up any shots off. Going east straight into the main. Going to be going. I feel like he should snipe the Spire, but I don't think it even matters. He's going to kill so many drones, and at this point, Mistakes is so far behind in this game. Presto can just move back, and there's really not much he can do to lose it.
I would agree. Mistakes is able to hold on for dear life just a little bit longer, not wanting to admit that this tournament is over, but he's so far behind.
Fourth
The
base going down for Presto.
the fourth base has just finished, and Presto does have 10 more Mutalisks than his opponent,
And he
and will be
hasn't even
starting
mined
work
out of
on
his main.
the. He's been doing very well keeping his drones separate, keeping his saturation even, and keeping that main mining as long as possible. And he has started level 2 flyer attacks, which will be very bad news for Mistakes, who's going to get a couple of drones here, but not enough to make those Mutalisks even out the score.
Absolutely. And I feel like Clash Presto can even afford to over drone here, get his drone count up to 80, up to 85, and actually he's on 4 base, which means he can remax so easily if he just gets that army maxed, moves out, keeps that upgrade advantage, and just keeps making engagements. He can easily remax in any engagement he makes.
A little bit of a Ling battle here. The Mistakes has made lots and lots of Lings, able to hold off Presto's Lings for now, but there are just so many on the field now as he's able to macro that army up so fast.
And that is the dynamic of the game. The game, I'm sorry, uh, when you manage to kill so many of your opponent's units and so much of your opponent's economy, and you force him to make an even more costly choice between drones and units. And if he makes units, you can just keep droning, and if he makes drones, you can just attack. And that is
Mist-
exactly what Clash Presto is going to do. He's going to deny this third, and that is horrifying news for Mistakes.
Definitely, Mistakes only his only hope in hell was to get that double expansion up, desperately try to even out the economy game, but both of them will be forced to cancel. And
Now he's stuck on 2 base, and he's going to be mining out of this main quite soon.
definitely, yeah, he's also been doing very well to keep the drone count even at both bases. He has quite a few minerals still at his natural, but of course that does mean that his drone count has been pitifully low. It's at
Meanwhile, so many
36.
drones being lost in the natural, finally going to be cleaned up by these mutas. This muta count respectably high, but if we go into the mistakes, into the ClashPresto, oh, I'm sorry, stream URL. Sorry, I just got a
Okay, I
message.
will take over. Just what Sean was saying, though, Mistakes does have quite a few Mutalisks. 19 Mutalisks, generally a pretty respectable amount, but against ClashPresto's 36, that just is not enough at all. And looking at the production tab, we are going to be seeing level 2 weapons just now finishing for
Look,
Mistakes.
I'm sorry, look at the army supply. Look at the difference in the worker supplies. 28 drones to 61. That is not even kind of close.
Not at all, Sean. And of course, pathogen glands are on the way as well. GG Mistakes is
And
out
there's
of
the
the tournament.
GG.
ClashPresto will be our first finalist, people. And
He will.
Sean and I will be joining you back shortly. I am Penguin,
And I am Sean.
and thank you for tuning in.